Hi there and welcome to this video. This is going to be a Shopify step-by-step tutorial. In this video, you are going to learn everything you need to know in order to set up your Shopify store. So this video is going to be perfect for someone who's just starting out. But if you already have a Shopify store and you are looking to improve it, I also highly recommend you to watch this video, especially the second part of this video where I'm going to discuss so many advanced things like collection filters, how to set up different collection pages, different product pages, how to use meta fields, in addition to all the apps that you need to use in order to improve your business and to grow your sales. So I highly recommend you to watch the entire video and to use the timestamps you will find below in order to jump to the sections that you are interested in. And now let's get started. The first thing that you should be doing is to sign up to Shopify. And in order to do that, I recommend you to use the link you will find in the description, because using this link, you will get the best Shopify offer ever. Shopify offers change from time to time, but using the link you will find below, you will get the best deal during this time or during the period where you are using the link. Okay, so in here, the first thing that you need to do is to use your email address, and it should be a new one that you haven't used before because you are starting a totally new account. I'm going to fill my email, then I'm going to take you to the next page where there would be some questions that we need to reply to, and that's it. So as you can see, this is the current offer. So you get 3 days for free, then €1 per 1 month. You need to fill now a password. I'm going to add a password. And click on create a Shopify account. So these are the questions that we need to reply to. They are general questions, nothing very serious. So let's get started. Where would you like to sell? I'm going to sell online. You can choose other things if they fit with your business. Then next, which of these best describes you? I'm just starting out, or I'm already selling. I will choose I'm just starting out. And then in here, what do you sell? So if you are doing dropshipping, you choose dropshipping. If you are selling digital products only, you choose this. If you are selling services, you choose this. I'm going to go with this option because this is what most applies to us. I'm going to choose this one and click on get started. In here, you need to choose the plan, and after choosing the plan, you need to fill out your credit card information. Once you do that, you will be redirected to Shopify and you can start using your account. So here I am inside Shopify, and as you can see, this is the Shopify dashboard. You need to get a little bit familiar with it because this is where you are going to run your business. Here you have the home, and this is your dashboard homepage. In here you will see notifications. Later on you will see some stats and so on. Then you have orders, and in here you can see and manage all the orders that you have received on your store. After that, you have products, and we are going to talk a lot about this section later on. Then you have customers, and in here you will see the list of all of your store customers with the number of orders they have received and so on. Then you have content, and this is related to the files that you have uploaded to Shopify and so on. Also, we are going to discuss this a little bit more later in this video. You have finance, you have analytics, and analytics is a very important section when you start running your business because it will tell you a lot about your business performance, the areas where you can improve and so on. Then you have marketing, and this is related to mainly everything email marketing. Then you have discounts. All of these things are things that we are going to discuss through this video, so don't worry about anything. Then you have the online store, and in this part we are talking about everything that's front end. So in here, all of these things were back end, so that customers don't directly see them. The front end in here is everything that your customers are going to see, so it's related to your website layout, your pages and so on. And we are going to spend a lot of time on this section, don't worry. Then we have the apps. So when you start downloading apps and you start using them, this is where you are going to see them. Again, don't worry about anything. We are going to go over everything in details. Now, the first thing I need you to do is to go to settings. And in here, we are going to set up some of the general settings of this store. Okay, so first we have the general section. And in here, you need to define your store name and your billing information and so on. As you can see now, it's called my store because I didn't name it. But in here, I should be putting my store name. Okay, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to create a kids Play-Doh store. So I'm going to put the information of this store in here. So this is the store name. I'm going to copy it to Shopify in here under store, and I will put my name. In here, you can put your email address if you want, or if you want to modify it. This email address is very important because this is where you are going to receive the notifications coming from Shopify. So make sure that this is an email that you often open and use. And you click on save. You can also add a storefront if you wish. Below it in here, you have your billing address, and this is important. You need to fill out your business address in here. And after that, you have some store defaults. So what is the currency that you want to display by default on Shopify? If you set up Shopify payments, by default, Shopify will be changing the currency depending on the location of your customers. So if they are in USA, they are going to see USD. If they are in Canada, they are going to see the Canadian dollar and so on. But you need to define the currency that's like the default currency of the store. Okay, I'm going to choose USD and click on save. In here, you need to decide your unit system metrics. So are you going to use centimeters or inches and so on? Also, it depends on where you are located. If you are in UK, you might need to use the imperial system, for example. I'm gonna stick with the metric system because this is the one that I understand. And in here, you need to define the time zone. Don't worry about these things. What you need to care about the most are basically the currency and the metric a little bit if you want to display the weight of the products. In here you have like if you want to change the order ID, I'm not gonna touch it. And in here you have some things related to the order processing. Also, I'm not gonna touch it. The default settings are already good. And in here you have the brand assets section. And this is a section that I recommend you to fill. It's somehow new on Shopify. It wasn't there all the time. And they are improving it over time, but it's gonna help you a lot later on when you start customizing the front end of your store, because in here you are going to put the basic stuff about your branding, like the colors, the logo, the slogan, and stuff like that in order to make your work later on easier. Okay, so you click here on manage. And as you can see, there are some things that you need to fill out. You can fill all of them, not fill them, it's up to you. Okay, so as you can see, you have the essentials, which are the logos, the images if you want, and so on. So we'll start by adding a default logo. So I'm going to click and upload my logo. So once the logo is uploaded, I can add it in here. It's a square logo. In like good case scenarios, you should have a landscape one and a square one and design like two different logos, even different colors. But for now, because this is just a trial store, we are going to stick with one logo. And in here, you can choose to preview it as a favicon or as a square and so on. The favicon is this small icon in here, and we are going to set it up also when we are doing the front end part. Okay, and in here next, we need to define our colors. And this is extremely important because if you define your colors in here, you can later on link to them when you are customizing your theme very quickly. We will reach this point, you will see what I'm talking about, but it's very essential to set up your colors in here. This is gonna make your work way easier later on. Okay, when you click here on add primary color, you can choose to pick the color yourself or to enter the color number, which is the best case scenario, because if you have a branding book or if you have some colors that you want to use in your brand, most probably you have the hex or the number of each color and you need to fill them in here. Okay, so I'm going back to my branding sheet and these are like my primary colors. So I'm gonna copy the hexes and put them in here. So this is my primary color. Okay, then I need to add the contrasting color. I have already chosen all of these colors, so I just need to copy and paste the hex in there. So I'm going in here. Okay, then I can add more secondary colors. So I'm going back to my sheet in here and add my secondary colors. This is a kids brand, so the colors are going to be very vivid. So it depends on your brand actually, and like the vibes of your brand, they might be different. If you're doing organic stuff, for example, they might be earthy. If you're doing fun things, they might be like my colors. So it really depends. Okay, and I'm going to add my final color, which is this one. I still have some additional colors that I might be using when I'm setting up the store, but for now these are my primary ones. Again, this is a kids brand, that's why the colors are very vivid, so I just set them up in here. You can also add a cover image, but this is a choice, I'm not gonna do it. You can also add a slogan in here, I can do this, and you can add a short description. So these are things that are like optional, you can add them or not, it depends on you. And finally, you have the social links, and in here you link to all of your brand's social media profiles. I recommend you to do this now because in most cases you will forget and your links will be broken. So do it now, enter all of your links, all the available accounts. You don't need to have an account on all of these platforms, just the available ones. Okay, once this is done, you click on save. So you are done with the branding part, and we are going back to the settings. And in here you have like some resources that you can check, and they are going to help you with your work. Like for example, the keyboard shortcuts. If you are using Shopify too much, there are like some keyboard shortcuts that can make your work easier. You can also check them out, and so on. And finally, you click on save if there is something that you have changed and you want to save. So this is for the general settings. After that, you have the plan, and then here you choose your Shopify plan, or you update your Shopify plan. After that, you have the billing. So when you are going to be billed, okay, so you can check the information in here. And after that, you have users and permissions. And this section is important if you have multiple staff members and you need to give them permissions, or if you, for example, you have a VA to manage orders and so on. So you can in here add people and decide what type of permissions you are going to give them. The number of staff members that you can add depends on the Shopify plan that you have chosen. Okay, with the basic plan, I guess you can add 2 staff members and that's it. When you go up, you can add more and more staff members. Okay, after that you have payments, and this is where you need to set up your payments, like how people are going to pay you. I highly recommend you to use Shopify payments if this is something available in your country, because when you use Shopify payments, currency conversions will be done automatically for people when they are checking the store from different countries. Also, it's a very straightforward payment gateway. It's my favorite, and it has a dynamic checkout button. We are going to discuss it later, but it's a button where people can see their favorite payment method by default. So I highly recommend you to use Shopify payments. Setting up Shopify payments is super easy. You just need to show them that you are a real business, give them some information, show them the registration papers of your business, and they will accept it, and it will be up and running on your store. Okay, in addition to the Shopify payments, I highly recommend you to set up PayPal. So many people like to pay via PayPal, so make sure to have a PayPal business account and to set it up in here. Okay, payment capture method in here, keep it automatically at checkout, so automatically people will be seeing their favorite payment methods, whether it is PayPal, Google, Stripe, or anything else. You can in here add like additional payment methods if you wish, and so on. Okay, and that's it. After that, you have the checkout, and the checkout settings in here are related to the checkout page. On Shopify, checkout pages are locked, so you can't change a lot about them. Now with like the final update from Shopify, we can add some stuff in there, but with the Shopify basic plans, there are so many limitations. Okay, when you go to Shopify Plus, you can do more at the checkout page. But for now, in here, we are changing like the most important settings about the checkout page, and we are going to discuss them one by one. So first, it's customer contact method. So how you will allow customers to sign up to buy from you. Do you request phone number or email, or do you request email for sure? So it's an option that you need to make. I like to put email, because in this way I will make sure I have their emails in order to follow up with them, whether with like campaigns later on, or maybe with abundant cart flows with the email marketing and so on. But it's really up to you and where you are located. Okay, so it's either email or phone number or email. In here you can force people to log in to their account before checkout. This is also an option that you can take. I don't usually take. In here you have customer information. So what type of information do you recommend from them? So you have the full name, the company name, which is not necessary, the address, this is for sure important, and the shipping address. The address line number 2, it depends on you and where you are selling, but it could be like optional. And shipping address, phone number, this is super important, okay? Especially if you have requested the email from here, you need to make sure that you need a phone number, so you make it required. In this way, you make sure that if something went wrong with the delivery, you still have their phone numbers to call them. Okay, then you have the marketing options, and this is super important. This is basically, you are allowing customers to sign up to your newsletter at the checkout phase. Okay, at the checkout page, they will see a checkbox directly under their emails, allowing them to sign up to marketing if they wish. Okay, so you can add this option from here, and you can make it selected as done, as okay, pre-selected by default. So what are the pros and cons of doing that? If you pre-select this option, most people will not notice it and they will be signing up to marketing, and in this way their emails will be like have the properties that they are accepting marketing. So it means that you can start sending them email campaigns and sales campaigns and so on. But in this case, since they didn't 100% intentionally signed up to marketing, they might be a little bit frustrated when they start receiving the emails because they didn't intentionally click on this. It was already pre-selected. So if you want to be like on the safe side and make sure that only people who intentionally want to sign up to your newsletter have done this, you keep it as not pre-selected. For small businesses, sometimes I put it as pre-selected because I want to grow my email list and I notice or I check what's happening with my list later on. If I notice that so many people are unsubscribing or they are reporting my emails as spams, I would remove it. If it didn't affect my emails performance, I keep it. So it really depends like on you, and it's something that's worth testing. Okay, you can also choose SMS if this is an option for you. You can also allow them to add tips if you want. Okay, and in here you can add like some additional scripts. This could be useful if you are doing Google Ads, for example, and you want to track the purchase and stuff like that. You might add a tracking code in here. In here you choose the language and you click on save. And in this way you have set up the main settings of the checkout page. So once this is done, next, you have the customer account, and this is related to when someone logs in, how they see their page. You can choose like how they are going to sign in. Keep it as customer's account. This one, they will get a code and they sign in. It's a super easy way. You have in here some other settings that you can play around with, but again, you can keep it as default. After that, you have shipping and delivery, and we are going to talk about shipping and delivery later in this video after we add the products and so on. But this is a super important section and I highly recommend you not to miss it out, especially if you already have a Shopify store. Believe me, you are going to be surprised of how many things you can do in here, maybe advanced things that you didn't know about. So this is a very important section and we are going to discuss it in details later. Then you have taxes and duties, and this is gonna be very, very related to your country. I'm not an accountant. I suck with taxes. So this is something that you need to figure out, and it's related to the taxes on your Shopify store and how you are going to be billed. Then you have the locations. So locations are super important because this is where you define your warehouses. And if you have physical stores, this is where you put your physical stores. So let's say you have a local store and like you have local stores in multiple locations and you are selling online through these stores. You set up these stores in there in order to manage inventories and so on. So you need to fill them out in here. If you are wondering how to manage inventories between like a retail store and an online store, Shopify has like a point of sale feature that you can use. This is something that you can discuss with the Shopify team, but you can definitely manage all of your, let's say, inventories, all of your sales channels within Shopify, even your retail stores. So in order to add a location, you just click on add location, you add the name and the address, and you mention if you fulfill from this location or not. Okay, this is also beneficial if you are doing like pick up or if you are doing local deliveries. This is also important. After that, you have markets, and this is where you are going to sell. And as you can see in here, my only market is France, and these are inactive markets. If I'm planning to sell outside of France, I need to add these markets and make them active. I can even add specific markets. Let's say, for example, I want to sell in UK, but I don't want to sell in Belgium. So I can set up like in here, add markets and add them per country if I wish. After that, you have apps and sales channels, and this is like where you are selling and the apps that you are using. So if you linked your Shopify, if you linked your Facebook shop in here, it will show in here. If you linked your TikTok shop, it will also show in here. And if you are using Shop by Shopify, you also can see it in here. Then we have the domain. Okay, by default, when you sign up to Shopify, Shopify is going to give you like this domain name. You need to change it to make it the branded domain name, your brand domain name. So you need to link to your original domain name, and it's super simple now because let's say, for example, you have purchased your domain name from Shopify or from GoDaddy, it's just like few clicks and the domain name will be linked. Then we have customer events. We have nothing to change in here because it's related to adding the Facebook pixel and so on. Then we have the notifications, and these are the notifications that you receive, that your customers receive. These are like the default notifications of Shopify. So when someone places an order, they will be receiving an email telling them that they have placed an order, a thank you email from Shopify. You can click in here and see all of these emails, like check them out, read them. They are HTML based, so you can't change a lot about them unless you are a coder or you have a web developer in your team. In this case, you can modify them. But believe me, you don't need. The default ones are already good unless you have a specific thing that you need to do. After notifications, you have custom data, and this is related to meta fields, and this is a very large topic that we are going also to tackle in this video later on at the advanced stage. But believe me, this section is a magical section that's going to help you to move your store to a totally next level. Okay, so this is not something that you want to miss. Meta fields, how to use them, the custom data part is super important, so don't miss it out. After that, you have the language, and this is if you want to have your store in multiple languages. Shopify offers this app, which is Shopify Translate and Adapt, and it offers, I think, 2 translations for free. So you can translate your full store content into another language and assign this language to the market. But after these 2 languages, you need to start paying, or maybe you need a different app. You can also modify the translations of these, like the store translation. We are going also to discuss this a little bit down the road in this video, but for now we don't have any content, so we can't do any translation. After that, you have the customer privacy. So this is also related to where you are like located, because in some, for example, states in USA, they have different privacy rules as in Europe, for example. So this is something also to check. And you have the policies. Okay, and this is something important because this is where you are going to set up the policies of your store. And the most important policies in here are the return and refund, the privacy one, and the shipping policy. So what you can do is you can click in here on the refund, and you can insert a template from here. So they give you like a default template, and you can modify it based on your business conditions. Believe me, having a return and refund policy is super important, especially if you are going to run ads, because you can never run ads without it. Like, you will get flagged easily. So making sure that you have set up your policies is super important. From a marketing point of view, the best thing to do is to offer always free returns or exchanges, but it really depends on your business and your margins and the nature of your products. Okay, so if they are not reusable, if you're selling perfume, for example, so it really depends on so many factors. But the best case scenario to increase your store conversion rate is to offer free returns, even like full refunds. Okay, you need to read all of this and make sure that everything is in parallel with what you want. And once you finish, you click on publish. After the return and refund policy, the next thing that we need to check out is the privacy policy, and it's automated based on your location. So they already know that I am in Europe, so this is the thing that I'm getting in here. I don't need to modify it. I can go and read it if you want. You can check it with your legal advisor if you want as well, but the default one is okay. Then you have terms of service. Also, this is something that you can insert a template and click publish. Also read it, review it, make sure it's in parallel with what you have in mind. But for this one, exactly, maybe you don't have anything to change. Then you have the shipping policy, and this is where things will differ totally between one business to another, like with the returns and the exchange policy. So this is where you need to tell your customers about your shipping fees, your shipping policies, your shipping time, and so on. This is super important. You need to make all information related to shipping, to refunds, to exchanges super clear, because otherwise your customers are not going to buy. So I'm going to write something just like a basic thing. So let's say, for example, free shipping on all orders above, let's say, $100. I need to also put like the processing time. For sure, you need to make it super detailed, like for example, 2 days, shipping time, 2 to 3 days for domestic orders. Now, if you are selling in multiple countries, you might have different free shipping threshold, different shipping fees, and so on. So in here, you need to clarify all of these things. So for example, you put for orders from France, from orders from USA, these are the shipping rates, these are the shipping times. So you need to include all the details in here, everything. So if your customers go to this page, they will understand everything, okay? And you click on publish. Then you have like contact information. This is super important because people need to be able to contact you. So in here you put like your email, your phone number. You can even use a template and put your information in here, and you click on publish. And this is Shopify Inbox. Shopify Inbox is a free Shopify app that allow you to chat with your customers, that allow your customers actually to chat with you. It has also an app on Android and on iPhones. So if someone like texted you, you receive the notification directly and you can reply to them. Okay, so this is a free app. It's super useful. I like to use it. It's already there, so you can use it. And I will click on publish. Okay, then you have terms of sales and legal notice. Same with the ones above. You need to enter the information in here, and same for this one, you need to enter the information in here. These two things are not like common, so you can skip them for now. You need to again ask with your like legal advisor about this, but these are the most important thing for the store to be up and running. So that's it to everything related to settings. But again, the shipping and delivery and the custom data are things that we are going to discuss in this video later on, and these are super important. Now we are going to move to the fun part, and it is to start introducing our products and start seeing our store going live. So now we are going to see how to add products to Shopify store, and this is actually the first thing that you should ever do, is to start with the products. As I said before, I'm creating a brand for kids. I've created everything using ChatGPT, by the way, the images, the text, everything. So I have in total, I think 5 products, and I will start filling out the information of the products and the images. Okay, and in here there are so many things that you are going to learn in terms of like different options Shopify gives you, how you can edit the photos directly in Shopify, and so on. So stay with me because this is going to be super interesting. So starting by the first product, and I will take the title of the product. So this is my rainbow dove pack. I'm going to go back in here, go to products, and I will click on add a product. So the first thing I will be filling is the title. Okay, this is the most important thing. If you are doing SEO, titles are super important if you want to rank for certain keywords. But anyway, having like a clear name for the product, what it does, is super important. And then here you can decide whether to type the description in here or have it done somewhere and paste it, and we will format it back in here. So going in here, I have this description and I will be filling it in here. Okay, this is like the basic description, the one that's going to be next to the product. And I usually like to have a description, list of benefits, and so on. Since this is a dove for kids and it's a dove that they can eat, this is the idea of the brand. As you can see in here, I have put the main benefits of each product, the ingredients, how to use it, and so on. These are all information that I'm going to show in the product page later on. And I'm going to show you how to do this using meta fields. But for now, I'm just going to fill out the descriptions. Later on, I will show you how to fill out these information so they are different from one product to another. This is also very important, so make sure to stay with me. Okay, so after the description, I can go back in here and I can like do some formatting. Like if I want to bold something, I can bold it. If I want to make it italic, I can, and so on. And in here you have like some AI tool by Shopify. They are now working on even improving it more and more. You can use it if you want to have like some text done or something like this. I usually prefer to use ChatGPT to do all of my product descriptions. I have like prompts for there. I use them all the time. So I don't use this one, but it's also an option that you can use. After that, you have the media, and this is related to your product images. This is super important. Every product on Shopify should have multiple images, and they should showcase the product in different situations, maybe people using the products and so on. Since this is just a trial brand, like everything in here is AI made, I'm going to upload some of the photos that I have generated using AI. So I will upload. So this is my rainbow dove. I'm going to add the images for this product. So 1, 2, 3. Now, after uploading the images on Shopify, you can even modify them using Shopify tools. So if you click, for example, on this image like this in here, you can decide to crop if you wish, you can resize it, you can draw, and you can even remove the background if this is something like if you have like a product on a white background and you want to change the background color, you can do this as well in here in the editor, and you can save it directly to Shopify. This is something like useful if you want to like quickly add your photos and so on. And next we have the category, and this is important because based on this category, Shopify will be modifying the category meta fields in here. We are going to see how to use these meta fields later on, but it's very important to make sure that this is correct. Okay, usually Shopify does a good job at choosing the right category, but you can in here choose like different category if you wish. I'm gonna keep it as it is. And after that, you have the pricing. So how much you are going to sell this product. Let's say it's $10. You can decide whether you want to charge taxes or not. Okay, and you can in here put your costs. So in this way, later on when you are calculating, let's say your profits, this is gonna make things easier for you. So let's say I'm selling this product for $30, okay, but it's costing me $10. So now I know that my profit is $20 and this is my margin. Okay. After that, you have the inventory, and in here you can allow or you can use Shopify to track your inventories. This is something that depends on you and how you are planning to run the business. So many businesses decide to run inventories outside of Shopify, but I think it's super easy to manage inventories directly from here. So basically you're telling Shopify to track quantity, and in this case you need to tell Shopify how many items you have of this product in each of your locations. Okay, and you can decide whether you want to continue selling out of stock or not. So let's say you can directly get products or easily get products. You can decide to stay selling out of stock, or maybe you can notify your customers that even it's out of stock, the order is going to be processed and there will be like a delay of 2 or 3 days. This could be super beneficial for so many businesses. Okay. So I will put in here, for example, 10. I have 10 items in this location. And in here you can add your product SKU if you wish, if you have it. After that, you have the shipping. And this is only going to be useful if you are going to link your Shopify account to your shipping service and make the rates calculated automatically based on the weight and the date and so on. I don't usually do that. I prefer to have like fixed shipping rates, make them super clear for my customers, announce them on all the pages, and if there is a little bit of difference, I might pay the difference. Again, shipping is a very important topic, okay? So I prefer to have like flat rates for the shipping to make them super clear. That's why I don't necessarily fill the weight in here, but you can always do it. So let's say, for example, 0.5. You can add more custom information about the product if you wish, if this is something that you are interested about. And in here you have the variants, okay? So let's say, for example, you're selling a dress and you have a red color of this dress and a white color of this dress. This is where you set up variants. In my case, I don't have variants for this special product, but I'm going to show you how to use it. You click on add options in here and you choose between these options. So when you choose color, for example, as you can see, these are the available colors. Okay, so by default, Shopify created several of them. I'm not gonna use any of these ones actually, so I'm gonna remove all of these. But basically, this is how you set them up. And for each of these variants, you need to choose an image and you need to choose one of your product images. Okay, and you put the price, so one variant could be more expensive than another and so on. And you can put the availability, so how many items of this variant you have. I'm going actually to delete all of these. But again, you have the color, you have recommended age group, you have these actually were recommended based on my product category. If you are selling fashion, you will see things like, for example, sizes, length, and so on. And in here, you can even create a new option if you wish. Okay, after that, you have the category meta fields. Okay, and these are going to be useful for so many things, but mainly for collection filters. Also, this is something that we are going to talk about separately, but making sure that these are in here set up properly is essential. So for colors, we don't have colors, so I'm gonna remove it. You have toy game material, you have recommended age group. So these are information that are actually important for your product. And as you can see, Shopify by default put them in here. Okay, you can't add your own, you just can add between the list that Shopify recommended. That's why we need to create more meta fields when we are doing the filters. Okay, don't worry if this doesn't make sense now, it will make sense when we move to the filters part. But the idea is to fill those properly from the beginning. It's super important to make your work way easier. So if it's in plastic, I'm gonna keep it. If this is the right answer, I can add more options, or I can add another entry. So let's say in my case it's not plastic, so I need to choose something that works for it. But if I don't find, I can add a new entry. Okay, and I add the entry in here. So what's the value that I want to add? Okay, but again, I'm not gonna use this as an option. Recommended age is nice, it's something that I want to keep, so I will keep it. Let's say it's for 3 years or older, I'm gonna keep it. And in here you have the search engine listing. So you click here, and this is where you change how your product is going to be listed in Google. So you have the title, you have the meta description, and you have the link. For the link, you don't need to touch it. It's gonna be like the title. The title in here, you can add to it, okay? So what I recommend you to do is to go to Google and search for like something similar to your product, see the listing, and just try to mimic what's happening. So let's say I go in here and I put like Duff bag. Okay, so what I can do is like have something similar to the Amazon listing in here, or maybe something similar to these. I'm not sure if they are available, but the idea is like to try to mimic the ones that they are listing on the first pages. This is the title, this is going to be the description. So these are basically what you are setting up in here. Once you are done, the second thing that you need to do is to in here make sure that your product is available on all channels after publishing. But the next important thing to do is to set up these properly. These are super important and they will greatly help us when we are setting up collections later on. So make sure that you fill them properly. So you have the product type. So what's the type of this product? In our case, in here it's a Duff, but let's say you're selling fashion. The product type could be t-shirt, could be skirt, could be dress, could be shoes, and so on. So filling the product type properly is super important because later on, again, it's going to help us with the collections. So let's put in here Duff. The vendor, in case you are selling like from different brands, like if it's a concept store, for example, and you are selling from different brands from all over the world, you need to put the brand name in here. Also, this is super important because if you are planning at a certain point to create collections based on the vendors, you need to have this filled properly. So if you sell, for example, Adidas, Nike's, Reebok, you fill the brand name in here and later on you will use this for the collections. In here, you can manually assign a product to a collection. This is not something I recommend you to do. I prefer to create all of my collections to be automatic. I prefer all of my collections to be automatically created and for the products to be automatically like assigned to these collections. Also, this is the next thing that you are going to do. So for collections, don't fill anything. For the tags, this is where I want you to do a lot of work. Okay, think about your tags as your collections. Okay, so because we are going to create the collections based on these tags, you are the only one who is going to see these tags. This is something internal, this is something at the back end, this is something only for you. Okay, so I need you to think about like what collections you want to have in your store. So let's say I want to have a collection for women, a collection for women leggings. I want to have a collection for, let's say, women leggings for yoga, okay? I would create all of these tags in here. So I would be putting women leggings, women yoga leggings as tags in here, and I will use these tags to build up my collections. So for tags, for example, I'm gonna put suitable for 3 years and above. this could be one of my collections. I can put, for example, under $50 as a tag. And what else? I don't have a lot of products in here, but I can add as much tags as I want depending on the collections that I want to create, okay? And in here you choose the theme template for the product. This is also something that we will discuss later, and it's related to the front end, okay? So in case you want to have two different product pages, let's say in one page you want to have more sections or information than other page, this is where you can do this. So this is where you can create different product pages. Again, this is something to be discussed later on in super details. Once you finish with everything, you click on save and your product will be live. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of my other products. So I have multiple products in the store, so I can start creating collections based on them. So I have added my 5 products to Shopify, and now I'm going to start to create collections. So from here I will go to collections and I will click on create a collection. By default, you will have the homepage collection set up, but we are going to create more collections. It really depends on how many products you have and how large your catalog is. This is a small store with 5 products, so maybe one collection would be enough. But anyway, you should learn how to create collections. So let's call this collection Duff, for example. And the first thing that you need to do is to put the description in here. So you need to have a small description, the same way that you have a small description for products. It's not a must, it's better, especially for SEO. Then what I need you to focus on the most is this part in here, and it is the collection type. And by default, you have 2 ways to create collections on Shopify. You have the manual setup. This is where you assign products manually to collections, and this is something I don't want you to do, honestly, unless you are creating a small bestseller collection, for example. In this case, it's okay. Otherwise, I recommend you to go with Smart. And with the Smart, you are creating collections based on conditions. So this allows you later on to bulk edit, to assign products automatically to these collections, and so on. And by the way, once you create a collection with a type manual or smart, you can't change it in the future, okay? And I know if you have a lot of products, this becomes really annoying. So make sure that you're doing this in the right way from the beginning. So under conditions, you have multiple conditions, okay? I like to use tags because I think it's like the most straightforward way to do things. So I would assign any product, for example, tagged with Duff, to be part of this collection. As simple as that. So if we go back to an example of, for example, a sports store, because this is gonna be a large catalog store. So I would have the tag woman, I would have the tag woman legging, I would have the tag yoga leggings, for example. And for each of these tags, I will create a collection. I can even create a collection combining several rules. So in here, I can choose, for example, that a product must fit all conditions and have multiple rules. So this is the most straightforward way to do it using tags. And later on, you can assign these tags to your products. Like if, for example, you want to assign a certain tag, you can go back, bulk edit the products and add the tag. There are other ways to create collections, and they might be beneficial for you, especially if you already have a Shopify store and you are organizing your products now. So you can, for example, choose to create a collection based on the type. That's why I told you to make sure that you have entered the product type properly. So if, for example, you want to create a collection for leggings, we just need to put type is equal to leggings, and that's it. A leggings collection will be created automatically. You can create also based on the price, based on the weight, based on so many things, and you can create based on meta fields. Also, this is gonna be beneficial when you understand what meta fields are. Okay, so if you already have a store and maybe titles could work for you, like if you have like the main keyword in the title, let's say you have included the word legging in the title. In this case, this rule could be beneficial for you to create collections, but I prefer if you don't base your collection based on titles, because you might change them in the future. You might decide to have your products titled in a different way. So always use tags, in my opinion. This is the easiest way. Product type is also easy. Vendor is also easy, because in here, as you can see, any condition could be vendor, okay? So these are the rules that you can use to create collections, and after that you can also change the SEO information about the collection like we have done with the product page. Okay, and in here you need to add an image for the collection. I prefer to always add square images for collections because they look better when when you are showing a collection grid. So I'm going to add a random image, let's say this one. And in here you can assign a theme template for this page. Also, this is going to be something we are going to discuss when we talk about like the theme customization part. Okay, so I'm going to create this collection, and I will actually create another collection. So I will go back in here and I will create a collection. I will call it under $50, and I will put smart. The condition is price is less than, and I will put 50 or let's say 45. Okay, and click on save. So now, as you can see, I have two collections. Let me assign an image to this collection and click on save. Again, it depends on your catalog, how many products you have. This is gonna affect a lot how many collections and sub-collections do you need in your store. Okay, it's super important to divide your products in the right collections and sub-collections so your customers will be able to find your products easily and to understand what you sell easily. Once your collections are created, the next thing you can do is to start creating some pages on your Shopify store. This is gonna be mainly for, like, say, if you want to have your shipping page in here, not in the shipping policy, or if you want to create a page about your mission and stuff like that. So pages go under online store pages, and this is where you can create the page. If you put the content of the page in here, it's gonna show on Shopify on the front end on your store as a text. If you want to do more sophisticated pages, you need to use the templates, and this is also something that we can do while customizing our Shopify theme. There are some pages that you must have, like for example, an About Us page and a Contact Us page. Okay, I will not fill the information of these pages in here because later on when I'm setting the theme, I'm going to design these pages in there. So About Us and Contact Us. So this is me just creating the pages. Once you have finished with your pages and your collections and everything, we move on to the next step, and it's a super important step, especially if you have a lot of products and a lot of collections and sub-collections, and it is to set up your navigation menus. If you don't know what navigation menus are, if you go to, for example, to Decathlon, these are navigation menus. This is the navigation menu. This is the main navigation menu. This is where people can explore your collections and sub-collections. Setting up the navigation menu is extremely important, and I highly recommend you to make it as simple as possible. I didn't say to make it simple because it really greatly depends on your niche, on your store, on how many products you have, how many collections and sub-collections. If it's a small store like the one I'm creating, I don't need all of these, like say, so many complicated stuff on the navigation menu. But if you have a lot of products, you would need to create these kind of menus, and they are called mega menus. It's when like you have different levels and so on. In order to create your navigation menus, you need to go to in here to your online store, you click on navigation and you create your menu. By default, you have a main menu, a footer menu, and this one for customers account main menu. So I will choose the main menu to modify it. By default, you have home, catalog, and contact. I'm gonna remove the home and the catalog. And instead, I will add one, for example, I will call it shop, just shop. I will not add a link for it, so I will put this symbol. I will click on save. So this is gonna be my first item on the menu. And under it, I'm going to list all of my products. Okay, since I don't have a lot of collections, I will list directly my products. So I will go in here to products. I will choose this one. And I will make it and move it to be under the shop. So it's like the second level. Then I will add the second product, the third, and so on. If you choose the URL before putting the label is going to be equal to your product a name, which makes your life easier, or to your product collection, or to the collection, which also makes your work way easier. Okay, so we have these items under the shop, and then we have contact. I can add, for example, About Us. So I'm gonna link to the About Us page. Okay, I can add one, for example, shop by collection, but I don't have a lot of collections, so this is just an example. I will add, for example, our first collection, which was Duff, and I will move it to be under the shop by collection like this. And I will add a second collection in here. You can filter the collection if you want. I'm not gonna do that. And in here, I'm going to add my second collection. Okay. So now I have this menu in here. I will click on Save. This is my main menu, and this is the one I'm going to use in here. There are other menus on your Shopify store, like for example, the ones you see in here, the footer menus. You might need to create multiple ones. It really depends on the theme that you are going to choose and how it works when it comes to the footer. Okay, but if you go to the default footer menu in here, you will see that you have like search. You can add, for example, your policies. So you go in here to policies, you add your privacy policy, you add your other policies. So customers can access them directly from here. So I'm going to policies. I will add this one, for example, and click on save. For now, I will stick with one footer menu, but again, it depends on your theme. If you have like this layout, you might need to create 3 different footers. Okay, and after 3 different footer menus. And after that, you just go back and you have your menus created. Now, a small comment, if you have a lot of products, you might need to do a 3 levels navigation menu, like in here, for example. So as you can see, when you click on woman, you have woman, then you have, so this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And this is something you can do on Shopify by simply, for example, in here, we can add a menu item and call it, for example, products, let's say as an example. Make it not linked to anything. Click on save, and we move the products to be under it. So as you can see, we have a 3 levels navigation menu in this case, and it's going to look something like this depending on the theme you are using. Okay, so this, like this. You can, for example, decide to divide these products by, for example, under $50 in here or something, so you have a layout similar to this one. Okay, and I'm going to click on save. Now, after setting up all of these things, we move to the fun part, and it is to set up your front end store. So to set up the store that your customers are going actually to see. And in here, the first decision that you need to make is what theme you are going to use for your store. And on Shopify, you can choose between 2 different types of themes. You have the free one and the paid one. I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of each one of them, and you need to decide which one you are going to use. When it comes to free themes, they are for free. So this is something good, you don't pay anything. When it comes to paid theme, you might be paying something between $200 to maybe $400, but this is a one-time payment. You pay it once and that's it. Shopify paid themes offer so many advanced options and sections that the free themes don't offer. This is something you must know. And not all paid themes are the same, okay? Paid themes differ between each other. That's why what I recommend you to do is to think about all the things that you want to have in your store in terms of functionality. So let's say, for example, you want to have a before and after section in your homepage. Let's say you want to have a section where you show a bundle on your store, or maybe you want to show a section that's shop the look, for example, or you want a countdowner, or you want a table of comparison between your products. Define what section you want to have on your store and search for a theme that has most of these sections. Okay, because custom coding or creating sections that don't exist is not super simple. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you an app that can help you a lot with this and save you a lot of money. But as a starting point, you need to choose a theme that has almost everything you need. So my recommendation for you, and if you have the budget, is to always go with a paid theme, because with a paid theme, you will always have much more, let's say, customization options. You will have more sections. The layout will look much more professional. So if you have the budget, definitely invest in a paid theme, especially that this is something that you are going to do once. You're going to pay once for the theme and you will get all the updates for free. So you will see now that setting up a theme takes time. So if you do it right from the first time, it's gonna be way better for you. So again, think about what section you want to have on your store and choose a theme that has most of these sections. If you sell one product, it really won't matter anymore between a paid or a free theme. But if you sell multiple products and if you are looking at this store as something that's going to live for years, I highly recommend you to invest on a paid theme. For this video, we are going to use the Dawn theme, which is the basic Shopify theme, to do the theme customization, but I'm going to show you in parallel the difference between this theme, for example, and the Symmetry theme, which is a theme from Clean Canva, and which it's one of my favorite themes actually. And I'm going to show you how paid themes offer so many options that free themes don't offer. To explore the themes, you can go to themes.shopify.com/themes, and in here you can filter by price, by industry, by catalog size, by features, and so on. What I recommend you to do is when you have your eye on a theme is to click on it and to view the demo store. When you view the demo store, you will see the different options, the different things that you can do with this theme. So for example, I'm gonna stick with this demo store in here, beauty, and I can see that they have the mega menus, which is this menu in here. So this is an option available within the theme. If I scroll down, I can see the different options they have. For example, in here, the highlighting of the text. I can see this section if I want to have something like this in my store. I can scroll, for example, they have the table of comparison, which is something I might need on my store. So this is a plus for me, for example. I scroll down, I see for example, the options they offer, what other sections they have. And based on what I'm seeing, I will decide whether this theme is good for me or not. Okay, so as you can see, there are so many sections in here. You can try them out, see how they work, see if they are suitable for your niche or your business. Okay, you can also preview the other, demos from here, and each demo is going to show you different features of the theme, but you can combine between them. So if you see something happening on one demo, it can be applicable to your store, definitely. Okay, and you can always preview the mobile view from here. If we go back a little bit in here, I'm going to actually search for the Symmetry theme. And as you can see, you have the view demo store in here as well to preview it. The nice thing about Shopify is that you can add a theme to your store and try it out, even set up the full store before paying for it. So what I recommend you to do after choosing the themes that you like the most, add it to your store, try it out, see if you liked it, and based on this, decide whether to buy it or not. So I'm going to add this theme to my store. I will click on login. And in here, I will click on try theme. The theme will be added to my Shopify store, and now I can start work around with it. But the only thing that you can do with a trial is to publish the trial. You can do this, so you need to work without publishing it. This is gonna have some, let's say, cons when it comes to setting up page templates, and you will see later on. But you can try the theme and play around with it, see if it's suitable for you, buy it, and this is gonna be fixed. Okay, so this is the default theme by Shopify. It's Dawn, it's very common, and this is the latest version. It comes by default on Shopify. How to customize your theme is exactly the same between one theme and the other, but the options you will have, the features you will have, the sections you will have are going to be different, but the logic is the same. So you click here, you go to online store, then themes, and you click on customize. The first thing that I want you to start with is to customize the settings of the theme, and you will find it here under theme settings. These are the general settings of the theme, and it's very important to set them up properly in order to make your work later on way easier. So first you need to put the logo. We have included the logo, if you remember, at the beginning of this video in the brand section, so we are going to link directly to it from here. So I will click here and link to the square logo. And as you can see, it's in here by default. Okay, in here also I can add a favicon image. I'm gonna link to my square logo in here, and I will have my favicon. So this is done. Then I will move to colors, okay? And this is gonna be different depending on the theme you are using, but most of the themes now have schemes. So schemes, if you are working with a branding company, they most probably have given you something like this. It's different combinations of your branding colors. So in one section you will decide that the background is going to be white with the text orange, and another one you will decide the reverse. The background will be orange, the text will be white. Okay, so it's different combinations of your brand colors. I need to set those properly in order to reflect my brand colors. So I will go to scheme 1. In here, I will choose, again, when I click in here, I can either enter the color in here manually, or I can click and go and choose between my brand colors, the ones I have entered. That's why I told you it's way easier to enter them once there, because in here you will be linking directly to them. So for the first one, I'm gonna keep white as the background, and I will make the text, let's say I'm gonna keep it black. Let me make the button, for example, orange, and that's it. Okay, for the second one, I will choose a different scenario. I will choose this one to be the background color, and the button label to be, for example, the blue. Okay, and I will keep doing the same for the other sections. So basically it's just like playing around with my brand colors. You can continue doing this for all the schemes, but I'm going to stick with these 3 for now. Okay, after schemes, you have the typography, and this is where you define your brand fonts. Okay, I usually recommend my clients to stick to the fonts provided by Shopify. You can add your own font, you can do custom coding, hire a web developer, do it, and we have done it so many times before to many clients. But I think it's an extra cost, and if you can stick to Shopify fonts, this is gonna be good. So let's say for fonts, I'm gonna pick this one, for example. And this is for the heading. You can choose it to be bolder, for example, if you want it to be bolder. So you're gonna go in here and you choose bold. And I can choose something more playful because it's a kids brand, for example. Let's see if I find something more playful. This could be the case. And for body, I will choose, let's say, this one. The most important thing is to stick to fonts that are actually like legible. This is the most important thing. Your customers should be able to read any text on your store easily. Okay, once typography is done, we move on to the layout. You click here on layout, and this is gonna define like the general layout settings of your store. So the width, I can add it or I can keep it, and the space between template sections. So it's basically the space between these sections. I'm gonna keep it as it is. Then you have animation, and this is like deciding to add a small animation like revealing on scroll, so keep it on, it's nice. This also, like, you can add a hover effect if you wish. I'm not gonna do it. This is where you define your buttons settings. So the thickness, the opacity, the shadows, you can play around in here. This is related to the appearance of the buttons. I'm not gonna work around, but this is super simple. This is adding border, these are the shadows of the button, and so on. Then you have the variant pills, and this is gonna be like the variant when you have, like, for example, different sizes. These are the small pills you will see next to the product information under the variants. So also you're modifying the settings from here. I'm not sure about this, but we can figure out later on while customization what's going. Okay. Then we have inputs. It's also more modifications related to the appearance. Then you have product cards, and in here I want you to take a lot of care. Product card is this one. It's every time we are listing a product. Okay, so when you modify this in here, you're modifying the general settings of the product card. And as you can see, the first thing you can do is choosing between standard or card. So you can choose, this is card, this is standard. Okay, all themes almost have this option. Okay, then you can decide the image padding if you want to add padding on the sides like I have done now. Then you can decide the text alignment if I want it to be center, and you can choose the scheme from here. Do you remember the ones we have set them up? I can choose to change it in here. Then you can play around with the borders, with the shadows, and so on. Also, these settings in here are so much related to the theme you are using. The more sophisticated the theme is, the more options you will see in here. Then you have the collection cards, and it's very similar to the product cards. It's when you are listing or when you are showing your collections. Same thing, same idea, everything the same. Okay, then we have blog cards, again when you are listing blog posts. So I'm gonna make it card, and these are other settings that you can change and modify. Okay, content container is mainly when you want in here, for example, instead of having the text like this, you want to have a background behind it. So this is where you change the settings of this background. Okay, then you have something related to the media in general, settings, drop downs and pop-ups as well, all related to the like shadows and borders. Then you have drawers, and this is mainly like it could be for the card, if the card is a drawer. It could be like for any drawer on the store also in here. Badges, it's when like you want to put it's related to, for example, new arrivals, or let's say on sale or something like this. Again, these settings will make more sense when you start setting up the store. Maybe you want to change something, you go back in here and change it. Then you have like brand information, so you can put headline, description, and so on. You have the social media links, the ones we have filled, we should have filled in the brand section in the settings. And then we have the search behavior, like these are some things that you can modify related to the search bar in here. And you have the currency format if you want to change it. The cart settings, we don't have a lot in here, but as you can see, the cart type is now pop-up notification. So when someone adds a product to cart, they see a notification like this. You can change it and make it a drawer. So now when I add a product to cart, it's gonna open as a drawer, or you can make it as a page. And if you want to modify something about this drawer, you go back in here to drawers and you modify like the border and shadows from here. Okay, then you have the checkout, and you have like little to do in here. We can discuss this later for sure. And you have the checkout settings. Okay, also related to colors and so on. We're gonna talk about checkouts later on, so let's leave this for now. And finally, we have the custom CSS, and this is a little bit advanced, and it's related to modifying the CSS of your store. This is where you need to know a little bit about CSS in order to manage it. If you are familiar with this, this is gonna be super helpful because it will allow you to change things related to the fonts, to the sizes of the text, to maybe spacings on your store, colors, stuff like that. Okay. Now I will take like a small moment to take you to a professional theme just to see the difference in settings. If you go back in here, for example, and we have added the symmetry theme and we click on customize, you will see in here under settings that, for example, when you go to color, you have so many options in here, as you can see, and they are totally different than what we have seen in the Dawn theme. So you have a lot of customization. You have the ability to customize a lot when it comes to this. Also, when it comes to typography, you will see that you have more options. When it comes to product cards, you will see that you have more and more options, even like the image shape, stuff like that. So really, if you are looking at this from a professional point of view, I highly recommend you to start directly with a professional theme, because using it, you will be able to set up your store way better, and you will be able to customize it way better than just going with a free theme like the Dawn. Okay, so that's it for the theme settings. Next, we are going to see how to set up your header, your footer, and all of these things. We are going to start by changing or setting up the things that are going to be common between all of your pages, and these are the announcement bar, the one you will see in here, the header, and the footer section. Okay, then we will go to each page and modify each page. As you can see on the left in here, we can see the layout of the page. So what sections do we have? And in here it's divided into header, template, and footer. Header and footer are common between all pages, and this is what's going to change between one page and the other. And now we are modifying the home page. You can know where you are from here. I will start by the announcement bar. I will click in here, and as you can see, I can start by changing the colors. I can add a separator lines between the messages because I can include multiple messages in here. I can add social media icons if I want. I can change the speed of this because this is gonna be like moving between one message to another, so I can change the speed. I can add language selector, country selector. I'm not gonna add them, but these are options that you can find in here. Then I will go back, and in here, this is my first message, welcome to store. I will add a second message in here, and I will put, for example, free shipping for all orders above $100. Okay, if you have a sale, if it's Christmas, if you have a discount code, you can put it in here for sure. Okay, you can even add a link if you wish. So these are my messages and they should be changing. So either they would change manually or they will change every 5 seconds. Okay, after the announcement bar, we have the header, and this is the section in here, the header. This is where we need to put our main menu. So the first thing that you need to decide in here, the desktop logo position. And now it's middle left. You can choose between top center if you wish. If you have a lot of items on your menu, you can have top left, you can have middle center. I like middle left. Usually when you have like a rectangular logo, this is gonna even look better. Okay, and second, you define the menu. So which menu you want to show in here. We want to show our main menu, but if you want to replace it, you just click on replace and replace it. And then here you choose the desktop menu type. So now, as you can see, when I click, I have this like old type of menu. If I want to make it not a drop down, a mega menu, it's going to change to be like this. So this is a mega menu. Okay, if I choose a drawer, let's see what will happen. It's gonna be like this. Okay, I will stick to mega menus and I will keep the header sticky. So when I scroll, I will keep it sticky. Let's see if we make it like this, it's gonna be sticky. You can make it sticky when someone is scrolling up. So it's gonna be like this. When I scroll up, it shows. I think this is the best. Okay, then you can choose the colors from here if you wish. Then you can change the colors from here, and also again you choose the schemes and you change the colors. I'm gonna keep it as white. Also again here you have the country selector, the language selector, and the customer login. Now we have things related to the mobile layout. If I click here on mobile, I can see the mobile preview. Okay, so mobile logo position, this is for this one, button margin and stuff like that. You can play around with them to make sure that they look good on mobile. Okay, so this is related to the header section. Let's see what blocks we can add within this header section. If you click on add block, there is no option in here to add anything, but you can use maybe an app and add in here. You can add more sections in here if you wish, like if you have like a liquid or another announcement, if you have a custom liquid that you want to add, or an announcement bar, but for me that's it, it's pretty good. Okay, so now I have my menu and I have it as a mega menu. Now let's scroll to the footer section in here, and as you can see now under footer, I don't have anything. I just have like the subscription box. I will add a menu, for example, so I will select menu and I will choose, it's already chosen, the footer menu by default. I can add like more stuff, like if I want, for example, to add an image, I can add. If I want, for example, to add a certain text, I will do. Okay, let's add an image and add, like, for example, the logo. So I will choose in here, for example, my logo. I will put it, and I can add a certain text. I can make it bigger, by the way. Okay, and I will put it at the end. So it's gonna be like this. And in here, I can add some text. So for example, about us, and I can add some text in here. Let me go back to my file in here and add, for example, something about my brand. So now I have my footer done. I can change the colors of the footer. So if I want, for example, to have it in a different color, I can do that. I usually prefer to have a different color for the footer. I think it's best, so I'm gonna stick to this one. And I will click on save. By the way, you can go back in here and add another menu item if you wish. So if I want, I can add another menu. So I would have 2 menus at the bottom. So I would have 2 menus in here. Okay, now we have finished with the main sections. So the header, the footer, and these, as I said before, are common sections between all of your pages. Now let's move to talk about how to customize the home page. So I will go back to the desktop view so I can see the sections in here. The first thing I have is a slideshow, and this is the common thing to have, is to have an image with a clear message and a button, and this is exactly what I want you to have. Okay, so for the image, and for this section here, we are using the image banner. If you click here on add section, you can see all the other sections that you can add within this theme. The list of these sections will differ depending on the theme you are using. If you are using a professional theme, you will see more and more sections in here. Okay, let's stick with this one. So for the image banner, I'm going to upload an image they have created for this purpose. So I'm going to go with this one, for example. So this is the image. Okay, you can have a second image, so you split the screen. or you can keep it as it is. I'm gonna keep it as it is. Next, you have the image overlay opacity. So how much is it? Do you see this black opacity in here? I'm gonna lower it, it's too opaque, okay? Then you have the banner height. You can choose large, medium, or small. I will choose medium. Okay, I think it's good. And you have the desktop content position. So this is where you want to put the text. I'm gonna put it as middle center. And as you can see, I have designed this image to have like a clean space in the middle. I didn't do it well. I should have added more clean space so the text would be more legible. Okay, so this is where you align the text, and this is if you want to add an animation. And here comes the mobile. Here there is something very important. If you are using a professional theme, most probably it will allow you to have a different image for mobile than for desktop. Because look, when you move to desktop to mobile, this is not gonna look as good as on desktop, okay? But for this theme, we don't have this option, so we need to make sure that the image you are using works both on mobile and desktop. Okay, so this is the image. I'm finished with the settings. I will go and start like by the text. So this is the text in here. I will add my brand slogan in here. So let's say this one. Okay, so this is gonna be my slogan. I would change the text size. I think this is better. Let's see. Okay, on mobile it's very big. This is where the problem or the limitation. Let's choose medium, for example. It's better, but it's not legible. So I should have used an image with more space in here and an extra large text maybe. Let me try to change this image. I have another option, 1 second. No, this doesn't work at all. Let's change something else. No, this one didn't work at all. So let me get back to my original one. Again, when you are choosing your photo, make sure there is more place. What you can do is to increase the image overlay so the text pop up more. I don't want to do this. I don't love it. The second thing that you can do is to add a container, which is this one. And as you recall, when we were doing the settings, there was a section for the container. You can do it. I don't really like it, so I will just turn it off, and I will go back and I will try to change the button to be more popping out. So let's see in here, change the outline so it's full. Okay, I don't think it's contrasting well. Let's try to choose a different color scheme in here. Not really. Let's choose this one. Okay, so again, this is something that you need to refine better in order to make sure that the text is really more legible. This is super important. Okay, once you finish with this section, we move on to the next sections, and in here you start building up your homepage. Okay, it depends on what you have in terms of, like, let's say content. If your brand has certifications, if it was featured in some articles, maybe you can add a section in here called as seen, for example. But for us, it's a totally new brand. So what I'm going to do is to list the products, add some sections about the brand, and that's it. So this is the featured section, and as you can see in here, you can choose what section you want to show, like what collection you want to show. You can add a small description. You can decide the number of products per row. Since this is a 5 product store, I'm gonna make it 5 so they appear next to each other. In here you can add, change some of these settings, like choose to view all, enable scroll on desktop. So if we do this, for example, and we make this 4, we can now scroll and see the other products. This is a nice option, by the way. Okay, and in here you see the settings related to the product cards. These are the things that we have started to change on the settings section of the theme. But in here you can add more stuff, like adapt image ratio. So you can choose it to be portrait. You can choose it to be square. Okay, the image shape as well. So you can add arch, let's say. You can make it diamond. Okay, you can make it default. And you can decide to show second image on hover, which is something we are doing. You can show vendor, you can show product rating if you wish, allow quick ads, so you are allowing customers to directly buy the product from here. But as you can see, the colors here are not contrasting well. So I need to go back to my colors, and this should be scheme number 1, I think, in here. And I should change the outline, but it's black. Let me see, maybe it's this one. No. So I go back in here and I change the outline to be also black, for example. So it's now legible, I can see it. Okay. So going back, so this is our collection. We can add now more sections to our store. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to add an image with text section, which is this section in here. I have created some content that I would love to put in here talking about the brand. So I will go back in here, copy the content. So for the heading, I will have this one. Okay, and then I will have this for the content. You can even have a subheading. So as you can see in here, I had a subheading, so I will copy it and also add it in here. I will go back in here, add a caption, add a tagline, and make it subtitle. Okay. So I still need to add my image. So in this way, I have created a section. I can make this button lead to somewhere, or I can remove it. It's up to me. Okay, I will keep doing this, creating different sections on my homepage to have the final homepage look. And then we will move to the second thing, which is the collection page. So I have added these two sections to my homepage. Now I will add another section. Let's say, for example, I can choose to add a multi-column section where I talk about like the benefits, or let's say the different features of my products or something like this. Again, you can modify everything in here, like sizes, layouts, everything. And you can like even change the layout on mobile and so on. I will remove the button in here by removing the label like this, so it's gonna be like this. And I can decide, for example, to center this one, I think. So if I go in here, it should be column, this is center. That's how you build up your homepage. You can go back in here and add as many sections as you wish. Again, these sections, the ones you will see in here, will depend greatly on the theme you are using. If we go back a little bit to our symmetry theme in here and we compare, for example, you will notice that we have so many sections already. And if you click on plus, you will see that there are so many sections in here that you can use from that you don't find on a free theme, like for example, key features, logo list. And if you scroll down, you will see more and more sections. While for sure some sections will be common, all themes will have them, like the basics one, but the more sophisticated ones are going to be like different from one paid theme to another. So now we are finished with the homepage and we will start setting up collection pages. So you go back in here to customize, and from here this time you choose to go to collections. By default, all of your collections will be assigned the default collection page template. So as you can see, it's assigned to 3 collections, but you can create other templates in here. Let's start first by changing the default collection template. So by default, for your collections, you will have the title and the products under it listed. Okay, this is the collection page. But you can go in here and add more section to this collection. So for example, I can in here add a rich text if I want, like this. I can decide to add, for example, a collage of images like this. Okay, there are so many sections that I can add in here. Okay, once I add them, I need to customize them to be suitable for this special collection. Well, you can customize them either using meta fields or by creating different page templates. Let me talk a little bit about meta fields. So if you go back in here, so this is, for example, the rich text, and let's say this is a section that I want to make it dynamic and different from one collection to another. But now, since it's already in the page template, this content is going to be the same between all collections. So if I go in here and I choose this collection, for example, the homepage, you can see that I will still see the same text. If I choose Duff, I will still see the same text in here. So how I can make this text different from one collection to another? What I need to do is to create meta fields. When you click here on the rich text section, you will notice that next to the heading, you can either enter the heading in here or choose a dynamic source. Okay, by choosing a dynamic source, you can fix the problem and have the text different from one page to another. So let me guide you through how to set this up. So let's go back to Shopify. And let's go in here to set to our collections. Let's just see one thing. So if I go now to this collection and I scroll in here, I can notice that these are the things that I have to fill. Title, description, like some information in here, and that's it. What I will do now is I will create a new field in here, something new to fill. So I will go to settings, I will go to custom data, and I will create for collections a new meta field. And I will call it rich text heading. Okay, and for the type, it's going to be a single line, let's say, and it has one value, and I will click on save. Then I will create one more thing because this section has a text and a body copy, so I'm gonna create something else. So I will call it rich text body. And in here under type, I will choose multi-line text because it's a paragraph, and I will click on save. Now when I go back to my collection page, you can see that I have two new fields in here to fill. Okay, so let me go back in here, and as you can see in here for this section under the heading, instead of writing the heading in here, I will remove it and I will choose a dynamic source, and I will choose it to be the rich text heading. This is the same meta field that I have just created. So basically I'm telling Shopify that for each collection you need to pull the value of this from here. Okay, wait with me, like you will understand more. So this is for this one. Then for the info in here, I'm gonna remove everything and select the rich body text, and I will click on save. I will go back in here to this collection, which is the under $50. For rich text, I will put, for example, choose affordable gifts, let's say. In here, I will put whatever, and I will click on save. Okay, now when I go back in here, so as you can see, the content in here is the one I have filled in here. Now when I change this, instead of seeing the under $50 collection, I check, for example, the homepage collection, you will see that this is empty because I didn't fill these information. If you go back to the homepage collection, I didn't fill these information in here. So in this way, I have created two new fields, a full section actually, with content that's different from one collection to another. Okay, this is very beneficial because it means that you can have more information within your collection page, and those information are going to be dynamic and unique for each collection page. Now, let's say you want to do something else. Instead of having different content, you want to have a different layout. So for this page, for example, we had collection banner and we had the product grid. Let's say I want to add a section in here, and it's a rich text section, and I want to put it in here. But I don't want to have this layout to all my collection. I just want to have this layout for example, my under $50 collection. Okay, so let me remove this again. Now let's say you want to do something else. You want to create different collection pages, like a different layout from one collection to another. So this is the default one. What I'm going to do, I'm going in here, I'm going to collections, and I will click on create a new template, and I will call it under $50. Let's say this is what I want to do. And for this template, as you can see, I'm changing this template. I want to have a section which is a collage section, for example, and I want to have it in here. I will click on save. What I need to do now is to go back in here to my collections, to this one, and in here to assign this new template. Let me refresh. And in here to assign this new template and click on save. Now, when I preview this collection, you will see that it has this layout, okay? When I preview another collection, let's say if I go with the Duff one, it doesn't have products, but at the same time, it doesn't have this section in here. If we go back in here, for example, and you change the preview to the home page, you will see that this section is no longer here because it's a different collection page template. Okay, the same logic can be applied to your product pages, whether to use meta fields or whether to use different product page templates. Now we are going to do the same thing that we have done to collections, but this time we are going to do it to the product pages. And here you need to put a lot of focus, because when it comes to collections, you might not need to use different templates. You might not even need to use meta fields, but when it comes to products, you definitely need this. Now, if you recall, for each product, I had different information that I didn't include within the description, like main benefits, ingredients, how to use it. Now I'm going to show you how to set up the product page layout in order to add this information and how to make it dynamic and different from one product to another. So going back to Shopify, let's go in here to products. And again, as you can see, we have one default product page template and it has been applied to all of my products. When you go in here, you will see that the first section we have is the product information. And this is an extremely important section because it's the one where I'm going to see all of my main product information. Okay, so first we have the product title, we have the price, and we have the quantity, then we have the buy button. And they are all reflected in here. But let's start first by clicking on product information. And as you can see in here, you have different options. I will start by making this a little bit smaller, so medium or even small. Okay, then you can choose, like, do you want the media to fill or to have the original sizing? I always use square images, so I never actually use this, but this is important. Then you have the layout. Do you want it stacked, two columns, or thumbnails, or thumbnail carousel? It's up to you. In here you choose the position of the media and some more things related to the layout. Under this, you will find everything that this section has in terms of, let's say, content. You have this text in here, which is you can remove or keep. It's showing the vendor, and as you can see, this is dynamic. This is a meta field. Then you have title, price. I'm not gonna change any of these things. You have the buy, and you have the description. And the description you are seeing in here is the same one we have entered in here under product. So this is the description you are seeing in here, okay? I'm gonna move it a little bit up. Okay, but as you recall, there were other information that I wanted to include, like ingredients, how to use it, and so on. So what I'm going to do is actually to add a thing in here. I'm going to add a collapsible row. And this row in here, I'm going to call it, for example, how to use. Okay, but the how to use section is going to be different from one product to another. If I fill the information in here like this, for example, this content is going to be common between all of my products. But in reality, this is something that should be different from one product to another. So how I'm going to fix it? I'm going to use a meta field to create a meta field. So I will go back in here. I will go back to settings, and I will go back to custom data and to products, and I will create a definition. I will call it how to use. How to use. And under type, it's gonna be multi-line text, and click on save. Now, when I go back to my product, for example, the Berry Blast Fun Duff, I would have a new meta field, which is how to use. Okay, I can do the same for ingredients and for benefits. So let's do the same. I'm going back in here to settings. I'm going to custom data, products, add a definition, ingredients, select type, also multi-line text, click on save, and I'm gonna do it also for benefits. And this time I will choose a rich text because I want to be able to bold the text or use bullet points or something like this. Okay, fantastic. Now I will go back in here, and as you can see, I will have all of these fields in here. I can go to each product and fill them, or I can use the bulk editor to fill them. So if you go now to products, you select all of them, you click on bulk edit, you will see a table in here. What I need to do is to go in here to tables, and I want to go to the meta fields section. I want to show these 3 meta fields. When I scroll horizontally, they will be in here, and I will be filling them in here. Okay, so let me go back. I will fill them for one product, let's say for the rainbow one. So these are the benefits. I'm gonna copy them, go back in here. So if I go to the rainbow one under benefits, I will paste them, and as you can see, this is a rich text, so I can select and make them bullet points like this. Now for ingredients, I will go back in here and copy the ingredients. And I will do the same for how to use. By the way, I think for the how to use, I should have created it as a rich text, but it's fine. I will click on save. Okay, now when I go back in here, so for the first collapsible tab that I have created, I will choose for the content to be coming from my product, and I want it to be the how to use. Okay, I will do the same for the ingredients. So I'm gonna add a new tab. Call it ingredients. And in here, I will select the ingredients. Okay, I will do the same for how to use it. Sorry, for the benefits. So again, benefits. Okay, so as you can see, now if I click on this tab, there is no info because I didn't fill the meta fields for this one. I just filled the meta field for the rainbow. But if I go back in here and I change the preview to see the rainbow one, you will see that all of this information is in here. So basically, all you need to do is to go back in here and to fill the fields for all of your products, and they will fit in here properly under the tabs. So now we have seen how to add these meta fields in here, and the same logic can be applied to any other section you want to create within the product page. So let's say I want to go in here and I want to add an image with text section. Everything in this section could be turned into meta fields and could be dynamic and different from one product to another. With meta fields, you can customize your product pages to be way better than before. So you can have like different sections, different content, different text, and so on. So let's say, for example, in here, I want to add like some information about how to prepare the game, how to play it, and so on. This all could be dynamic and unique from one product to another using meta fields. So this is when it comes to how to use meta fields and how to structure your product page. Another thing that you can do is to create a totally different product page template. So with the same logic that we have used for the collection pages, we can create different product page templates in here. So let's say for one product page template, you want to have this image with text section. For another, you don't want to. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to create a new product page, and let's call it the rainbow one. The rainbow, and we'll base it on the default product page. And for this one, for the rainbow one, we're gonna keep this one, but for the default one, we're gonna actually remove this section, so I don't want to have it. Okay, so what I need to do is to go back in here, and I will go back to my rainbow product, and in here under the templates, I will assign the rainbow template and click on save. Now when I preview this product, it will have this section, but if I preview another product, it won't have this section. This could be extremely useful if you have, for example, if you sell bags and shoes on your store and each product type needs a different product layout. This is when you can start creating product page layout. One more thing I want to talk about in here, and they are the product recommendations. By default on Shopify, you have the related product section in here, and you can in here add within the product information, add what we call complementary products. Okay, you can modify what products you want to show in these sections, in the complementary products and in the product recommendations, using an app that we are going to discuss later in this video. Okay, so product recommendations are extremely important and you must make sure to set them up properly. Now with the app I'm going to show you at the end, you can customize the recommendations for every product, and this is what I recommend you to do. Okay, so we are done with the product page template. With a product page, you can go as fancy as you want. Be my guest, just make your product pages amazing. That's the most important thing. So now that you know everything about product pages and collection pages, you can apply the same logic for your normal pages. So if you go in here and you choose pages, let's say I want to create a page, an about us page, and I want to add images and so on. So what I would do is I would click click on create a template, call it about us. And in here, I will start filling the information. I can add as much section as I want. So I can have, for example, collage. I can have an image with text section, whatever I want. And what I need to do when I finish like filling all the content, what I need to do is to go back in here. I go to my online store, to pages, and in here under pages, under the about us page, I need to choose this template. Okay, so when I click on save and I preview, this is what I'm going to see. Let me refresh. So as you can see, I'm seeing the template that I have created. So if you want to create some fancy pages, this is a very smart way to do it. You create templates and you assign those templates to these pages. Now the next thing that we are going to talk about are filters. Okay, for this store precisely, we didn't have a lot of products, so filters are not that important. But if you have a good number of products, you must use filters. So even with 30 products, filters are always very useful. And if you don't know what filters are, so when you go, for example, to Decathlon again, and you access any collection page, like for example, if you go to women and you click on clothing, this is where you see the filters. Okay, so this is where you filter your products. And in Shopify, there is a very nice way to set up filters. Okay, you can set up filters using different things. Okay, you have the default filters that are on Shopify, so like the price and availability, and you can add your own filters. And in order to manage filters, to manage even product recommendations, in order to do this, there is an app that you must use, and it's called Shopify Search and Discovery. I'm going to add this app to my store and show you how to use it. So once it's in here, you can notice that it has filters, search, and recommendations, and it helps you managing all of these things. Now, if you want to create filters, what I recommend you to do is to use meta fields. Let's say, for example, I want to filter my products based on, for example, the age. Okay, so what I can do is I can go in here to settings, and I can go to custom data, and I will go to products, and I will click create a meta field called age. Okay, or let's say suitable age. Okay, and in here I will select the type to be single line, and I will choose list of values. When you choose list of values, it means that it's the same product can be under two filters. If, for example, a product is suitable for 3 years old and 6 years old, it could work in this case. And in here you can set the choices. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna go from 0 to 3 years old. This one is going to be from 3 to 6 years old. And the last one is going to be, for example, 6 to 12 years old. Okay, so now when I'm filling this meta field, I need to choose between these options. I will click on add. Okay, now when I go back to my products in here, you will notice that a new field is in there, and this one, it's the suitable age. So I'm gonna put in here, for example, 0 to 3. I can choose 2 items, not only one option, because I chose their list of values. So I can choose also to be under 2 ages. I will go and I will set up another filter for another product. Let's say this one. And in here, I will put the suitable age to be 0 to 5 years old. Now I have created the filter. I have assigned the elements within the filter. But when I go in here, and for example, I go to my product, to my collection page, let's preview the home page. Okay, I can't see it in here under the filters. I only have availability and the price. I want to add this as a filter in here. So I will go back in here to my apps, to the search and discovery app. And from here, I will click on customize filters, and I will click on add filter. And here I will choose the suitable age. This is the one that we have created, and I will click on save. Now when I go back and refresh, I can see this filter in here. Now when I go back in here, I can see this filter in here, and if I choose this filter, I can only see the product that fits within this filter. So okay, this same logic should be applied to all the filters that you want to add to your product. So no matter how many filters you have, you just need to create them as meta fields and assign them as filters within the search and discovery app. So you can add as many filters as you wish in here. You can also use the categories meta fields as a source. So as you can see, they are in here. You can also use them as a source for your filters. Now, when you go back to this app, another thing that you can do is to manage your product recommendations. So you go in here to recommendations, and let's say for this one, okay, I'm going to add product recommendations. So I need first to choose what is my complementary product. The complementary product should be very related to the original purchase. So I'm going to pick any product, let's say this one. And then the product recommendations in here, either I keep them auto-generated or I can add them myself. So I browse and I choose some of my products. Now, when I go to my page, to this product exactly, to the rainbow one, I should see these exact recommendations in there. So let me click save and let's go to this product. So as you can see, these are the same ones I have included in the product recommendations in here. If I go to apps and to the search and discovery app, these should be the same ones. So I went in here and I have recommended these two. So the Shoko, the DIY, and I'm seeing them in here. The one that's not available, because if it's out of stock, it's not going to show, so it's not showing in there. Okay. Now, the second thing that you should do is the complementary products. I can't see them in here, maybe because they are not in the layout of the page. So I'm going back in here to my online store. I'm going to customize. And I will be going to my rainbow page because this was unique. And in here, I will add the complementary products. And I will move it up, let's say. And I should be seeing this one, the same one I have recommended. Okay, some apps will allow my customers to directly buy the product in here. I'm not sure this is an option in here, but in some themes, they will have directly an add to cart button. But in some themes, in most themes, they will have a directly add to cart button in here, so they can directly add this product to cart. Once we are done with this one, we still have like some more pages that we need to modify. And these are like the other pages, like for example, if you go in here, you have the contact us. If you go in here as well, you will have like the checkout page, blogs, and so on. So now we are almost finished with everything related to the front end. You still have some pages that you can like play around with, like the checkout, the cart, if you want to create a blog post and so on. Be my guest. It's the same logic with checkouts. You won't be able to add a lot of sections, but basically that's it. Okay, once you are finished with this, I want to go back now to the shipping part because we didn't discuss it before. So you go in here to settings, and now we are going to set our shipping and delivery rates. Okay, as I told you before, I prefer if you fix a flat rate for your shipping. You can divide your shipping rates based on the region, based on even the products. So some products might have different shipping rates than others, if they are, for example, fragile or something like this. In here, first you need to decide where these shipping rates are going to be applied. Okay, so as you can see in here, I'm applying these shipping rates to all products, but this can be different. You can create a different profile in here and have different shipping rates for different products. So as you can see, I'm applying this to all of my products, and it is the rates for these markets where I'm selling. So if you click here, you can see that all the products are in here, and these are the zones where I am selling, and this is where I need to be setting up my rates. So the first location I have in here is France, and as you can see, I have some things in here set up already. You can remove everything and start from scratch if you wish, or you can modify what you have. So as you can see in here, by default, we have like this first rate, which is free for orders above 50 euros. I'm gonna click in here on edit rate, and I want to make it actually free for everything that's above 100. And as you recall, I can make this, for example, custom rate name. I'm gonna make it, for example, 2 to 6 days. And put, for example, free delivery. Okay, so this is what my customers are going to see. I will click on done. This is the second rate, and it's gonna be like not free. So I'm gonna click on edit rate. I can change the name. I can in here change the limits. So it's gonna be like 8 if it's the price is between this and 99.99, and I click on done. So in this case, I have set up my shipping rates. Okay, I can go in here to, for example, international, and change my rates. So okay, I'm gonna go in here, I will delete it from scratch. Now if I want to add a new rate, I just need to click on add a new rate and add it. Okay, so if I want to add a new shipping zone, I need to click here on add shipping zone. Let's say I'm making shipping rates for USA, so I will put USA, and in here I will choose United States. I will click on done, and in here I need to add the rates for this area. So let's say it's gonna be flat rate, and it's gonna be shipping rate custom. Let's say free shipping for orders above, let's say $100. So if it's the price is minimum 100, or let's say $200, I'm gonna make it free. Done. And I will add another rate, which is, let's say 2 to 3 days shipping, and this is gonna be like, for example, $10 for anything that's between 0 and 99 and 199. Click on save, and you click on save. So this is how you set up shipping. It's super simple. Always make sure that all of your products are within the profile, unless you want to have like different shipping rates for different products, and make sure that you have shipping rates for all the countries where you want to sell, because if you don't have the shipping rates in here, customers can't check out, they can't buy the product. Okay, so make sure that you have all of these set up properly. Now the final thing I want to talk about in this video are some apps that can greatly help you to increase your store sales. The first app I recommend you to add is called Stamp.io, and it's a very important app to collect reviews. It's super user friendly. It allows you to send automatic emails for your customers to review the products, and they can review the product directly within the email. So I highly recommend you to use this app. It's super simple. You just need to install it, tweak a little bit the content, and that's it. The second app I recommend you to use is called Monk app, and it's a super user-friendly app that allows you to increase your sales because it allows you to offer upsells, cross-sells, and free gifts. If you want to know more about this app and how to use it, you can check this video on my YouTube channel where I show you step-by-step how to install and use this app. The third app I want to talk about is called Section Store, and this app is amazing because it allows you to add almost any section you want to your Shopify store, to your Shopify theme. You just need to purchase this exact section and add it to your store. Also, if you want to know more about how to use this app, there is a video on this YouTube channel where I show you how to use this app in detail, so you can also check it out. I started recording this video in the morning, and now it's almost like 4:30 p.m. here, and there is no more lights. That's why you can see it's a little bit dark. Anyway, I'm tired, but I'm happy that I finished this video, and I hope that I covered everything that you need. On this YouTube channel, there are so many other videos that can help you as well, like giving you more details about like so many things that we have talked about in this video, like navigation, collections, sub-collections, even meta fields, product page templates, and so on. So if you want to know more, check out the other videos on this channel, or you can check out this playlist, because in this playlist there is everything that you need to know. Before leaving, I want to say something very important. Once you finish setting up your Shopify store, the next thing that you should be doing is to set up your email marketing system. This is super important, and there are so many softwares or tools that you can use to set up your email marketing system. And on this YouTube channel, there are videos that shows you how to set up this system using the free tools from Shopify, using Omnisend, even using Klaviyo. So don't forget to check any of these videos, or maybe check them out to decide which of these, let's say, tools or options are going to work best for you. Thank you so much for watching this video and for staying with me up until the end. I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, don't forget to smash the like button, to subscribe to my channel, and to hit the notification bell, because in this way you will get notified every time I publish a new video. Thank you again, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.